Hi friends, welcome. Today is chocolate gravy day. I had told you guys in a video a couple of weeks ago that I was going to be making this recipe for you, and so that's what I'm doing today. Now I have in my pan here 3 tablespoons of butter, and I'm just letting that melt over a medium heat. And so in a little bit we're going to be adding some more ingredients here, but I wanted to tell you a little bit about this recipe. Now this recipe belonged to my mother-in-law, and it was the one that she used to make chocolate gravy, which, my mother-in-law was one of those cooks that, she just added a little of this and a little of that, but I'm sure that she probably worked this recipe out for some of her kids so that, they would have this recipe if they wanted to make it. But anyway, she was a wonderful cook. Good Christian lady. I just, I can't say enough good things about her. She was just a sweet, special lady. And I'm just so thankful that the family still has this recipe. It's like we still have a little piece of her, and of course, it brings back good memories of her when I make this. Now, I'm adding in here my flour, and I'm putting 2 tablespoons of flour in, and then I'm going to add a 1.5 tablespoons of cocoa, and we're going to stir that really well. You don't want any lumps in your gravy, so make sure when you add these 2 ingredients in that you stir the lumps out of that. And of course, you can see there it's just a medium boil. You don't want to cook this too fast. You don't want it super slow either, but just over a medium heat would be fine. And make sure you stir all those ingredients really, really well. It's really important when you make gravy to make sure that all those lumps are gone. So that's what I'm doing here. Now this was a breakfast food, and my mom would make this for us when I was growing up as well. And this is just one of my favorite foods. I could eat it, it doesn't have to be breakfast. It's just so good over a hot biscuit. That's the way it was eaten. But it's really a pudding, a homemade pudding is what it is. But, people back in the day just, they called it chocolate gravy, and it was a breakfast food. So, the next thing, now I've just added my pinch of salt in. So the next things we're going to be adding will be the sugar and the milk. Now, I'm going to put 3/4 of a cup of sugar and stir that a little bit. And then I'm going to be putting in 1 3/4 of a cup of milk. And then I'm going to stir that really well and make sure there's no lumps in it. You can see there it kind of wants to lump up on you a little bit when you add that sweet milk, because the mixture's hot and the milk is cold, so you just have to stir that quite well, actually. So you just want to keep going with it and stir, stir, stir. And I'm actually going to stir this with a wire whisk just to make sure that there are no lumps. I do that quite often with any kind of gravy that I make. I'll usually get out the wire whisk and give, my gravies a good stir just to make sure that no lumps are in there. Because there's nothing worse than taking a bite of gravy and getting a big clump of flour in your mouth, that hasn't been mixed up. So just stir, stir, stir. So I'm going to let this cook now and just come back up to boil, and just a slow boil like it was before. And whenever this cooks for 5 or 6 minutes or so, I'll bring you back and show you what it looks like when it's done. Okay, I'm back and the chocolate gravy is finished. I'm going to turn the heat off now. And I'm going to be adding the vanilla flavoring in just a little bit. And this gravy is ready. And it smells so good. And I'm telling you, if you make this recipe, you can expect the pan to be scraped fairly clean. So now here I'm just putting the tablespoon of vanilla in, and I'll stir that really well. Make sure those flavors are incorporated. And so all you need now is a big old hot biscuit to drizzle it over and just sit down and enjoy it. And I want to thank you guys for stopping by. Come back and visit with me real often. So until next time, you guys be blessed and happy trails.